and France Avenue. That'll be going on through late this evening in St. Paul. Eastbound 94 reduced to 2 lanes between John Ireland Boulevard and 35E for nighttime construction. Looks like the rain has kind of chilled out a little bit. I thought that was kind of fun coming in here tonight. Some shower storms possible late this evening. Looking at a low around 58 for the overnight. Rain in the morning. A high near 72 degrees for tomorrow. Thank you. It's 88.5 KBEM FM, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Jazz88.FM, a listener-supported service of Minneapolis Public Schools. Do stay tuned for the Jazz Impulse.
This is 88.5 KBEM FM, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Jazz88.FM on the web, a listener-supported service of Minneapolis Public Schools.
All right, we're going to get crazy here on the Jazz Impulse tonight, celebrating Prince. I got Andrea Swensson here. Andrea, say hi.
Hey, Danny, how's it going?
It's great, and I think we did this last year, I believe, right?
Yes, we did.
You're kind of like my most returned guest.
All right.
You know, I think because I play so much Prince. You know, you're the expert. Thanks for coming down, Andrea. It's been a fun week. Have you done other Prince activities this week?
I've been following a lot of things online, and I've been spending a lot of time hanging out downtown working on some window displays for Hennepin Arts, which has been really fun.
And they're Prince themed?
They are, yeah. They're from a collector named Rich Benson. We've been going through his huge collection of memorabilia and putting together windows, and with all the fans coming in through town, it's been super cool watching them interact with it.
Yeah, where can people find that?
It's in LaSalle Plaza, which is in the building where the State Theater is.
Yeah.
So basically when you park at the State Theater and you come out of the elevators, it's right there. We put out 2 windows so far, and there's going to be more throughout the year.
And what kind of stuff does he have?
It's everything from, photographs that he's purchased from all these different Prince photographers to newspaper clippings and memorabilia.
Yeah.
It's really been cool. I mean, the amount of material that Rich has collected fills, we're working out of this bank vault in downtown Minneapolis right now, sorting through everything. So it's been really fun to just try to put together some stories about Prince with all these different physical objects.
Yeah, and we should tell people, Andrea's been a DJ for a long time. And a writer for a long time, an author. You did 2 books this past year, and we've had her on talking about that. The Cornbread Harris book, of course, and the Prince Purple Rain at 40 book was great. And you a Prince historian of sorts. And in fact, you've been a host of the Prince podcast for the estate.
That's right.
So you're kind of an entrusted soul in the Prince universe, especially with his close-knit family and friends. And that kind of stemmed from your work at NPR and The Current and working with Prince one-on-one. Yeah, you spent some cool time with him back in the day. Yeah. About 10 years ago now, I was really living out at Paisley Park and going to every party that he threw, and I got a chance to meet with him a couple times, and I just have so many incredible memories from those last few years of his life when he was so prolific and so busy here in the Twin Cities, which was very exciting. Yeah, and I mean, I remember I heard it from you when he passed on. I think you were maybe one of the first to report it. But we celebrate every year now. Celebration, a big event at Paisley Park, and there's shows all over the Twin Cities of different performers from his groups that are presenting the music. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty cool, right? It is. It's really gotten to become, I think John Bream called it unofficial Prince Week in Minneapolis. There's just so many different events. If you go to Celebration, they have Paisley Park events, but then there's all these unofficial parties, and there's a DJ dance night tonight at the Union Rooftop, and there's all these pop-up events and exhibits
exhibits, and the Purple Path now is, you can go look up all these landmarks and go visit.
The Purple Path.
Yeah. Meet Minneapolis just launched that this week, so people can take kind of a self-guided tour of Prince landmarks, and there's just so much going on. So I love that we've kind of decided collectively that this is the week we're going to go all out on Prince.
I think at first people were a little shy about it because, toward the end of his life, Prince famously is a Jehovah's Witness and didn't celebrate his birthday. But I think the time has passed. It's like, sorry, Prince, we're going to celebrate.
He did, earlier in his life, he had huge birthday parties at First Avenue, and he would, really make a big to-do of it. Even as recently as like 2000, 2001, he would invite people to the original celebrations out at Paisley around his birthday. So I feel like we've got some good, evidence backing it up that he also enjoyed it. And it's more joyful, I think, than, originally some of these celebrations after he died were held on the anniversary of his death. Yeah. And that can be a very somber time for Prince fans. So to gather in June, it feels really like we're embracing the joy. Yeah,
it's a great way to start the summer. I did so we're going to have an interview with Bobby Z that I did earlier this week that's going to play next hour, and we talked a lot about that because certainly Bobby celebrated Prince's birthday on his birthday many times on stage when they celebrate his birthday. So he had some great stories about that. And as Bobby put it, when Prince stopped celebrating his birthday, Bobby said to him, maybe you're going to stop celebrating your birthday, but I'm going to keep celebrating your birthday. So that's what we do. And then maybe this is an official party every year, the Purple Party on the Jazz Impulse, so we're going to do it up Prince style. We're going to play that interview at 8 o'clock with Bobby Z. It's a really good one. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. But we're going to keep the party rolling. And we kind of decided to start off with some deep cuts.
That's right.
And I just noticed, was it today or yesterday, they just dropped a new Prince song, a new recording. And how much do you know about this track, this free track?
Well, the interesting thing is it just kind of came out in very Prince style with no information. Yeah. There was no preview of it. It just, hello, here it is.
Yeah, that is very Prince style.
So in my ear, I'm hearing a later Prince. This is a deep cut from the 1999 recording sessions. It's a version of Free that's just Prince alone on acoustic guitar. But I think hearing the maturity of his voice and the way that he's playing the acoustic guitar, I would put it more in the early to mid 2000s. And there is a line in here where he says 2008, 2009, 2010. So I'm wondering if it is from that period. But we don't know. It's a mystery.
Yeah. I feel like I'm on Pawn Stars right now trying to figure out the relics here.
Or Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah, you're like Rebecca, the book person. You know what? Yeah, and I have trouble deciding because they're using the logo from that era. How often did he record acoustic demos during that time period? Maybe not that much. I don't know.
Well, we've gotten one other one from early in his career. I Feel For You was first demoed in 1979, but that is very much a falsetto Prince. So I would be shocked if this was from 1981, 82. Yeah. Just based on the way he's singing, but
whatever the case, I think it's an incredible song. I think it's beautiful, and I went back and listened to the original version, and I got to say, man, this one really hits, and in a totally different way. You wouldn't even recognize the original song after listening to this beautiful version of Free. It's Prince here on the Jazz Impulse. 1, 2.
Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about hey, baby, what you got? Be glad for what you got. I know your heart is beating. My drama tells me so. If you take your life for granted, you're beating hard to go. Don't sleep until you're guilty, 'cause that's all I we. There's others doing far worse than us. Be glad that you are free. Be glad that you are free. Free to change your mind. Free to go most anywhere, anytime. Be glad that you are free. It's really amazing night. Be glad for what you had, babe. What you got. Be glad for what you got.
Marching, 2012. This time, we all fight together for the most important cause. We all fight for the right to be free.
Is that my echo? Give me the straighter one. Can you turn the lights down so we can... Good God. Turn the voice down a little. Wanna call you every day, beg you to be near me. I know your head is underwater. I thought that you could hear me. Let the rain come down, the rain come down. Let the rain come down, down. Let the rain come down, the rain come down. Let the rain come down. 17 long nights. May drag knowing that you're holding someone else tight. I wanna call you every day, beg you to be near me. I know your head is underwater, I thought that you could hear me. Let the rain come down, rain come down, the rain come down, down. Hey, rain. Oh, baby, now. All my 17 days. Been gone 17 days, 17 long nights. Oh, it's a drag, babe, I know. Holding another nigga tight. I wanna call you every day, begging to be near me. I know it's underwater, doubt that you can hear me. Let the rain come down, come on down. Let the rain come down, down. Oh, 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 come on down, dash. Come on down, yeah, baby, no. Purple rain. you down. So sweet, how I drink a case of you. Still be on my feet, still be on my feet.
Starting with the piano, we're going to tune up, and we're going to slowly, surely, all within a minute. We're going to be quiet, and then we're just going to build and build and build until we're just making loud, fast notes. Okay? And then I'm going to go shh, and then you just bring it down. When you saw it kind of winds down real quickly, and then Lisa will start. Okay, starting with piano. Okay, ready? And just trip. There are no mistakes this time. This is the fun track, this one. It might not be the one we keep, but we just have fun with. Play anything you want. Ready? Go with it. Whenever you want, Lisa.
I feel we've had a private concert from Prince this evening here. That was Power Fantastic. We decided to go with some deep cuts here to start the show off tonight. We're doing the Purple Party here on the Jazz Impulse, and Power Fantastic was recorded during the Sign of the Times era.
Yeah, it was recorded before Paisley Park was built. Prince was recording in his home in Chanhassen, and they had studio space in the basement, but then the piano was on the main level. So that's why you heard Prince talking in the beginning there, kind of guiding his band through, because they were all in different rooms wearing headphones.
Yeah.
I just think it's incredible that they were able to play a somewhat improvised piece without being able to see each other.
Yeah. And so he's there. That's so Prince. I'm sorry. I mean, I guess that's pretty typical for recording studios. But that song itself, Power Fantastic, I don't know if that existed much after that, though.
No, it's just been kind of a deep cut in the Prince world. I think there's been bootlegs of it passed around, but it's so wonderful that we got that really clear recording of him working in the studio with his band that came out on the Super Deluxe edition of Sign of the Times.
Yeah.
I love it. I love when you can hear him working through that creative process.
And were you involved with that project too, then, the Super Deluxe? You did the liner notes for it?
I was, and the podcast too.
Okay.
Yeah, which was pretty crazy because we did that all during the early days of COVID.
Yeah, wow. Well, it's a good project to have. I went through all my archives during COVID.
Yeah.
What's that like when you get a tape you've never heard of before? Or somebody from somewhere within the organization, they find a tape and they're putting it on the tape player for the first time. You're pressing play to see what it is. That's got to be super fun.
I mean, the people that get to actually work in Prince's vault and do that, it's a very select few people that do that, and it is just an absolute trip. And then they share it with the rest of the team, and it gets passed around. And oftentimes when I get it, I would get just a folder full of maybe 50
tracks, yeah.
And they'd say, "Hey, we're thinking about putting out all these songs on this collection. Can you write a story about it?" And I'd be like, okay. So first things first, where did these come from? When were they recorded? It's just kind of a fun little scavenger hunt that you get to do.
And so what about Power Fantastic do you really like about it? That is just that it kind of was just a moment in time for him, probably?
Yeah, I think it was a time when the revolution was starting to turn into something else for Prince, and he was starting to pull in more of this jazz influence that he got from, his father and growing up in North Minneapolis. And he was also, starting to really embrace kind of, I would say, the prettier side of his songwriting with Wendy and Lisa as his collaborators. And there's just something really gorgeous about it. He's not afraid to just kind of dwell in that really lush moment with his band.
Yet, so he's working with them. Yet and he mentions Bobby on there,
and Lisa's playing piano.
Yeah, but yet they're not really on the record itself, are they? On Sign of the Times.
Correct.
So
yeah,
it might have been toward the end of their tenure.
Yeah, that was such a transformative period for Prince. He was touring with the Revolution. They were going around the world promoting Parade and Under the Cherry Moon, but of course, Under the Cherry Moon did not do super well. Certainly not on the same level as a Purple Rain. So he was kind of at a crossroads in his career and needing to think about how to evolve and how to look for what was going to come next, and eventually disbanded the Revolution at the end of that tour and started forming an entirely new band with Sheila E. and all these Bay Area musicians. So I think that's another thing that's really compelling to me about that recording is you can feel him kind of searching for what he wanted to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. And only Doctor from the Revolution carried on through the Sign of the Times. Or was Brown Mark still in the band at that point? I don't remember.
No, he'd already gone on retainer even before the Parade tour. So he was kind of the first one to have a foot out the door. And then Wendy and Lisa and Bobby all got let go at the same time. And then Dr. Fink, he was given the option because Prince didn't know if he would feel uncomfortable continuing on in this new band without all these other people that he was used to playing with. But he decided to stick it out, and he made it all the way up until Prince totally rebooted yet again and made the NPG.
Yeah, the Doctor got a residency through that time period.
That's right.
And we were... we heard the piano and a microphone set. So we're playing all sorts of Prince tonight. I'm sure people are expecting some party jams. Trust me, they're coming. They're coming. But the piano and a microphone recording kind of came out after Prince passed. And what was the year of that recording?
Well, it was dated to 1983.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've been able to identify exactly when in 83, but it was for sure leading up to, the recording of Purple Rain at First Avenue that August. And then they started filming Purple Rain, the movie, that fall. So it was somewhere probably in that summer. Yeah. And I love that you hear him play a little bit of Purple Rain, but it's just an idea.
Just an idea, just the chords, maybe.
Yeah, and it just kind of flows by, and then pretty soon he's going into Joni Mitchell, and it's
was cool.
Yeah, a little seed of something that was obviously going to turn into something much more.
Yeah, and 17 Days ended up being just a B-side from the Purple Rain era, too. So that you had a few of those in that medley there from the piano and a microphone record. And we started off with brand new Prince. I mean, this guy's been gone about 9-10. How long has it been? 9 years?
Yeah.
And he's still putting out records. So we are thankful for new Prince music and new recordings and more. Another look into his life and career and his music and his art. And it's always a joy to celebrate every year around the time of his birthday. On his birthday this year, here on the Jazz Impulse. So we're going to have a lot more of that. We're going to have an interview with Bobby Z, who was the original drummer of the Revolution. And we've been talking about band members kind of coming in and out of the group. Bobby Z was number one. He was like number one on the list. The very first bandmate, I think, that Prince...
I will correct you. Sorry to be like that person.
No, do it. Yeah, no, I was trying to think about this. Who was along Prince's side before that? Then?
His very first bandmate, they met just down the street here in North Minneapolis, was Andre Simone.
Okay.
Yeah, they met in 6th grade, and they formed their first band, Grand Central, and then Andre was brought in as Prince's bass player when he started his solo career. So Bobby and Andre certainly are, among the first, but Andre goes back to when they were like, kids, basically. Yeah. And Prince lived at his house for many years. His mother took Prince in when he was bouncing around and played such a huge role in Prince's life and was really like a brother to Prince as well. So have to give a shout out to Andre if we're talking about original people.
Original. Okay. Stand corrected. No, but Bobby has a ton of great stories and definitely an integral part of that moment in Prince's career in terms of like being able to present the music that Prince had in his head and that was on records and that they wanted to perform on stage. That would have been a tough gig, and Bobby's got some great stories about that. And there was something else I was going to mention about that, but we will be listening to that next hour. We'll be talking a little bit more with Andrea Swensson, who's here tonight with us to celebrate Prince and his life and music. And we are going to pull another deep cut from the Originals record in a moment here. I'm a huge Martika fan.
Nice.
And before this record came out, I didn't realize it was a Prince song originally. So we're going to listen to Prince in a moment here with the tune Love Thy Will Be Done. It's all coming up here on the Jazz Impulse.
I'm having a really hard time lately, and I'm worried no one will understand what I'm going through.
I feel so alone. I wish there was somebody I could talk to.
If you're looking for support, Mental Health Minnesota is here for you, with connections to others who have also struggled with their mental health and can provide support and resources. Services are anonymous, confidential, free of charge, and open 7 days a week. Connect today at mentalhealthmn.org or call 855-HERE-FOR-MN today. Sponsored by Mental Health Minnesota, the Minnesota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
I can no longer run, no longer
peace outside my window. There is peace inside, and that's why I can no longer run. Love, thy will be done. Love, thy will be done. Love, thy will be done. Oh, love, thy will be done. I can no longer hide. I can no longer run. Oh, love, thy will be done. Thy will, love, be done. Oh, love, thy will be done. I can no longer hide. I can no longer run. Oh, love, thy will be done. Thy will, love, be done. Thy will, love, be done. Thy will, love, be done. I get delirious whenever you're near. Lose all self-control, baby, just can't steal. Wheels get locked in place. Stupid look on my face. It comes to making up pass, pretty mama. I just can't wait to rest, 'cause I get delirious. 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 I'll get delirious. You hold my hand. Body gets so weak, I don't understand. The temperature's running hot. Baby, you got to stop. If you're done, I'm gonna explode. And girl, I got a lot. I'll get delirious. Yeah. Delirious. Delirious. I'll get delirious whenever you're near. Girl, you gotta take control, 'cause I just can't sleep. Just too much to take. Can't stop, ain't got no brakes. Girl, you gotta take a whole little ride up and down, in and out around your leg. I'm delirious. You get me delirious. Baby, lay me down. Delirious. Spinning round. Whoa, yeah. I'm delirious, yeah. Oh, yeah. Delirious, yeah. It's gonna be in my head. Everybody will come. Everybody will know. Oh, yeah. I'm delirious. Yeah. It's courting time. I've been holding back a good deal longer than I should have oughta. I bet you got the notion that I couldn't make up my mind. Now I'm ready to tell your mama that I got to get with her daughter. Put on your good dress, baby. It's courting time. Every day away is just another day your baby's lonely. No matter what I'm talking about, it always comes back to you. I lost more friends this week because the only one I want deserves the best, the very best that I can do. But on your shopping shoes, honey, it's courting time. Yes, it is. fed night and all. No regrets, the truth I get from knowing that you're mine. 1,000 times a victor I am. Baby, baby, it's courting time. Yeah, get ready. It's courting time. Yeah, it's courting time. Baby, now you're gonna know it's courting time. Boy, I truly love the girl. It's courting time. When I do that, when I do that, I'm gonna make them honey twirl. It's courting time. Get some, baby.
It's Jazz 88, the Jazz Impulse, and we're celebrating Prince and his music tonight. It's a purple party on the Jazz Impulse. That is from 1996, Courtin' Time, the Emancipation record. I really like that record. It was like 3 discs came out. He'd just gotten married and kind of went into a jazz vibe there. There's a lot of different kinds of styles on the Emancipation record. He was finally free from his record label and kind of did whatever he wanted on Emancipation. So it's cool to play that era of Prince tonight. We've kind of been hanging out in the 80s, even late 70s a little bit. We're bringing it all to you here tonight on Jazz 88. We heard before that did we do Delirious?
We did do Delirious.
We did do it. I'm getting delirious
I know.
just thinking about it. And of course, from the 1999 record, 1982,
yes.
year of 1999. And we kind of decided to bring out some of the actual hits that Prince recorded.
We were maybe getting a little too deep for a while
into
there.
some deep cuts, yeah. But, it's a perfect time to reflect on. I think what some of those deep cuts do is really shows his creative process quite a bit. And he's playing this music in a studio for the other musicians for the first time and feeling the potential for whatever groove would come about. I have Andrea Swensson with me here tonight. She's our Prince expert, our Prince historian, and knows a lot about all these different eras. And we were talking about the Welcome to America record. When did this come out? A few years ago now.
Yeah, just a few years ago, and it was recorded in 2010. Mm-hmm. And it was really the first thing to come out of the vault, like a fully formed album that Prince had recorded and gotten ready to put out and then shelved for somewhat mysterious reasons. But I think basically, this was at a period where iTunes was starting to take over. Yeah. And he was very skeptical about releasing music online and how the labels were going to monetize that. So I think he kind of decided to not really mess with it and just focus on his live show for a while.
Yeah, and there was a Welcome to America tour, but he didn't actually put the album out for it at that time.
Right, all the pieces were in place, but, Prince could be mercurial like that. All of a sudden, it's just gone.
But to have a full-length, brand-new Prince record that much time after he passed was definitely a treat, and I think this record holds up pretty well. The tune, actually a Soul Asylum song. What's it called? Stand Up?
Stand Up and Be Strong.
Stand Up and Be Strong. And we're going to come back with an interview with Bobby Z next hour. Do stay tuned to the Jazz Impulse. Here's Prince, Stand Up to Be Strong. It's on Jazz 88.
your heart grows cold. You're tired of doing everything that you're told.
It's almost dawn. Stand up and be strong. Find a brand new song before they're gone. Stand up and be strong.
If you live in the hills, take too many pills.
Oh, too many pills.
'Cause you lost the thrill against your own will.
Stand up and be strong.
Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
Stand up and be strong. Stand up and be strong. It won't take long. You can't go wrong. Stand up and be strong. It's almost on. Stand up and be strong. Sing a brand new song before they're gone. Stand up and be strong. When the war is too long and your rights are all wrong, when they lie to your face, put them in their place. Stand up and be strong. In the times of unrest, and you're all depressed. If your life's a mess, remember you are blessed. Stand up and be strong. Come on.
It's Jazz88, the Jazz Impulse. We're going back to 2010, the year of the recording for Welcome to America with Prince. Wouldn't be released till 2021. I was pretty excited when this record came out. A record that he just shelved because he had kind of maybe already moved on after he'd done the recording.
Yeah.
I'm here with Andrea Swensson. We're celebrating Prince tonight. We got the Purple Party here on the Jazz Impulse. We're going to turn things over to Bobby Z in a moment. I did a really fun interview with him. We're going to listen to that in this next hour. Thank you so much for coming in, Andrea.
Absolutely. Thank you for making this now a yearly tradition.
Right.
It's really fun to come hang out with you.
Next time you have to bring the whole family down.
Oh, well, I don't know if anyone wants that, but sure. Chaos in the studio.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Purple weekend.
Thank you.
Is there other big events that you're involved with?
Nothing that I'm personally involved with, but I'm probably going to go down to Union Rooftop tonight to catch Prince's old DJ Dudley D. He's doing his Dance Electric party, so that should be a good time.
Oh, yeah. I love Dudley D. We'll have a great time, and thanks again for coming in. We're looking forward to having you back. And do stay tuned here on Jazz88. More Prince party coming up, and we'll be having an interview with Bobby Z right after this.
Ian Shaw. Make sure you do join me next time on the Ronnie Scott's Radio Show, because I'll be chatting to the wonderful Nikki Yo just ahead of her live shows at the club.
What was great about Ian is he was terrifyingly wonderful and brilliant at everything he did.
So I'll see you with Nikki on the next Ronnie Scott's Radio Show, Tuesday night from 8 on Jazz88.
It's the Jazz88 live music calendar for Saturday, 7 o'clock, the Rolling Stoners, Dakota, Minneapolis. 7 p.m., the Stablemates featuring the legendary world-class drummer Jay Epstein, Volsteads, Minneapolis. And 7 o'clock, Swinging on a Star at Lake Como Lake Pavilion, St. Paul. 8 p.m., J-Train Jazz, the Mudroom, Mendota. Find more on the live music calendar at jazz88.fm.
Tune into Jazz 88's 24/7 local channel, Minnesota Jazz Tracks. Find it online at minnesotajazztracks.com or on your mobile device using the TuneIn Radio app. Minnesota Jazz Tracks is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
This is 88.5 KBEM FM, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Jazz88.fm on the web, a listener-supported service of Minneapolis Public Schools.
And we're here with Bobby Z. Bobby, how you doing?
Hey, Danny, how are you?
Really good. You know, I did a purple party on the air last year around the time of Prince's birthday, and this year it happens to be happening on a Saturday night, so on his birthday. Just such a joy to play Prince's music in general, but I think, like you said earlier, the whole city, the whole world really comes together celebrating Prince. How do you feel? How do you think he would feel about that?
Well, I'll start by saying, I kind of agree with you. If you go back to the actual day, 9 years ago when he passed, when the pyramids lit up purple, and the Eiffel Tower was purple, and the Opera House in Sydney, Australia was purple. I mean, that tells you how the world felt then, and I think they still feel. There's a tremendous loss, but what it means to Minneapolis is so significant, and it's just great to see people really embracing him and the music, and doing this annual celebration. It's similar to, as we were discussing, the Vienna celebration for Amadeus Mozart every year. I think this will continue to grow, and I think it's very exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think it's a great way to kind of start the summer, and there's so much positivity in Prince's music and its ability to come together like that. Prince was pretty shy and maybe didn't necessarily celebrate his birthday toward the end of his life.
I have to say, it used to be in the beginning that celebrating his birthday was a very big deal. And, first 10 years, the Detroit show was his birthday show, which was on film somewhere, and it's really fantastic. When he stopped, he basically, I don't celebrate my birthday anymore. I said, well, I still do, because it's a really big day. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think he would appreciate it. Is there any stories of birthdays that you celebrated with him that are particularly memorable?
He had a costume party one time. It was really, he let loose, and it was fun and wild, and you never knew. But in the early days, it was more subdued, of course. But after Purple Rain, I think he got more philosophical and kind of nobody likes to look at the calendar and see how fast age is creeping up. But more than that, I just think he the spiritual side of him didn't want to celebrate the day of his birth. So I totally respected that. It's been, quite a while since he celebrated his birthday, but I will say in the early days, there was some really fun parties and really great concerts. And those are worth hearing and watching in the future.
I think while he was really shy about attention sometimes, maybe around the subject of his birthday or aging, I think he really loved getting people together. And
we sang happy birthday to him in Detroit, the whole crowd, and Wendy did a great job leading the song. And, that's super memorable, aw shucks moment for him. But it was still spectacular to watch people celebrate. We did that, the Revolution he did that for all of us on our birthdays. The crowd sang. It's very meaningful. Birthdays, they come fast. So
they
celebrating his once again.
No, it's a joy to see the city come together, and Prince fans, I think, from all over the world come to town. Yeah, and like Paisley Park, like today, you were part of celebration, and in the past. How is it when you're on a part of the event or on a panel discussing Prince? It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster, I imagine.
It is. There's kind of an eerie silence presence there for me. It's great to have people in there to keep it so your mind doesn't wander a little bit about the meaningful emptiness of it now, but it's still a magical place. It still creates an aura of his vibe, and it's kind of a sanctuary for me. Being there kind of conjures up the spirit, and you feel it there probably more than anywhere else, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sure you've told the story many times. What was it like? What was the experience, or what was the setting when you first met Prince?
We were Minneapolis street musicians. When you say that you're going to be a musician after high school, I mean, and back then especially, you were planting a flag that was difficult at best. There really wasn't a lot of major label deals. There certainly wasn't in the way everybody's connected as they are today. So studios like Chris Moon's studio were attracting more affordable for bands and people to record, and that gravitated to the street musicians of the day, which was people playing clubs. I was playing with this guy Kevin Odegaard. He recorded there, and everybody recorded there, and it just bumped into him there. And the door was open, and I heard it, and I just barged my way into his life, much to his chagrin, But, he looked at me pretty horrified at first,
Why is that?
Well, just being Prince. He was the same when he wasn't famous, Yeah. Imagine just walking up to him. He acted the same whether he was unknown or completely huge star. So he was just, felt like I was, it felt like he was kind of like an exotic animal that you stumble across in the woods. I don't know how to explain it. But eventually I won him over with a few jokes. And that kind of, when I sat down in the chair, eased into the chair, and then, he played me some stuff. And then he went out and recorded some stuff, and he went out and he did drums first. And I was just like, what is going on? So you learn quickly that the guy, right in front of your face is just, a complete master. It took me all of, 20 minutes to figure that out. And I've been hooked ever since.
And as his drummer, you're taking notes, you're taking direction. How was Prince in that kind of context of kind of requiring you to kind of recreate some of the sounds that he made on his records and how it would come across performance, but still maintaining your style? How was that relationship?
I look at it like the classical composers. I mean, you had to play what they wrote on the page, right? It was all written. There wasn't any of this tape stuff. They were parchment, and you had to read. You had to read music. So I looked at the parts in a kind of an orchestral sense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Trying to recreate them, but there was stuff that he was such a studio wizard that sometimes he couldn't hear or figure it out, and that's when the puzzle came. Sometimes he would show you, and sometimes he would say, "What are you going to do?" And it kind of challenged you to find your way during that part. And then you play it the next day at rehearsal. You panic and work on it overnight, and you play it for him, and and you get that nod of approval, or he would come to your instrument and show you. Then you had to break down and play it for you, what he did sometimes. But other songs, that were created in a band kind of jamming sense, he would just leave you alone because you created your own part.
Yeah, and some of the performances with you ultimately are pretty famous for showing up on the soundtrack to Purple Rain, the live tracks on there. How was that process of performing this music that nobody's heard for a live audience, and then have it kind of show up on a record sometime later? That must have been pretty exhilarating.
Yeah, it all stems from kind of the controversy in 1999 tours before, where he just wanted to take electronic drums and have them playable. It was just one of those things that to be the muse for that. I mean, it was not that easy to do that, back then. It was actually, but we started out, going to Radio Shack. I mean, hanging out. You know, my brother David, who kind of taught us all how to make records, loved to hook things up to stuff. A hi-hat gated to the guitar to give it that da-da-da-da-da-da-da, like you hear on Kiss and stuff like that. And, you know, Funky Town's got like reverse echoes, cowbell, if you hear that. So David was really this pioneer. So it was the same kind of thinking, you know, we're going to hook stuff up to stuff, you know, and that kind of, it was instilled in us, whether it was using guitar pedals on drum machines or, you know, things that were just delays on drum machines, which is just really uniquely Prince. And then, but getting the pads to play. But once we mastered that, you know, it was really kind of, you know, and we rehearsed 8 million hours. So
that helps.
So you really knew how this thing was going to work. But when you're moving that stuff around in that early kind of pioneer stage, it definitely had some hiccups. And, you know, Prince didn't like hiccups on stage. So you were battling technology, God, fate, you know, whatever you could do to get through so it didn't double trigger or something misfire. You know, it was kind of like, you know, rockets going off in the back sometimes, but it was when it worked, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen some video of you guys, and you're kind of you're not only playing live drums, but you're kind of in charge of all these pads and the drum machines themselves, and being on stage and sweaty with all this electronic gear. You need to really hit the mark with some of these beats.
Yeah, I mean,
live.
it was really like, you know, I mean,
were there some Spinal Tap moments
for me?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that thing was, you know, before everybody was playing lock to computer, you know, on some songs. I mean, but then you could turn it off, and then the trick was that the pads would play when the machine was off, and that's where it all changed. Then you could play Purple Rain or Automatic, and you could play them manually. So it was, I mean, you had to keep things clean, and it was electronic, and the pearl concussions had to be tuned. And, you know, put it this way, it was certainly not, I played drums in the beginning, and at the end, you know, I was kind of this complete, I felt like we were, you know, the Wright brothers or something, you know, the thing was flying.
Yeah.
And we got this to really change. And now it's like, the industry's completely changed. I don't know if you could buy a drum set. You know, they're already pre-wired, ready to go. And, you know, it whether it's V drums or even acoustic drums with triggers, I mean, it's just mind-boggling that now it's just commonplace.
Yeah, the computers and click tracks, and seeing, you know, I went to a show the other night, there were no musicians on stage. I mean, that he was definitely ahead of his time in that regard. And
well, he still wanted real music. You know, real music, you had to play it. You know, you couldn't, even though it was synthetic of sorts, whether it was the keyboard parts or something, these horn parts were intricate. The keyboard, when, you know, Matt and Lisa had to play these difficult parts that sounded like horns, and, you know, everything was just so musically disciplined.
And I've made this comment before, and you probably agree. I think Prince played his band like an instrument. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think
that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's no different than if, you know, Mozart wrote out the notes. Right? They were still arguing about what Beethoven, you know, these New York Philharmonic are arguing about notes written 275 years ago. And, you know, I mean, in a sense, Prince's recordings are still mysterious. You have to search and find. And we were definitely, because there's more parts. He picked the kind of like, how do you resemble these recordings in the best way? And so there was kind of a filtration of what he wanted. Sometimes he would completely change them from the record. You were playing almost a completely different version of the songs. He just wanted things faster, or he wanted, you know, the excitement to build. And so, I mean, like I said, it was all about rehearsal with Prince. You know,
being able to kind of
perfecting it there.
And you're keeping an eye.
Rehearsal, it was all about.
Yeah, and the ability to improvise and watching his moves and his direction on stage. You know, I think after a certain period of time, after Purple Rain came out, he was kind of already moving on to the next thing, and a lot of those songs, they kind of become really free-flowing jams on some of the performances that I've seen. Would you say that's pretty true as far as the Purple Rain tour?
I mean, some of these, when we'd rehearse these songs, sometimes they'd be 20 minutes long, you know, and, because he could call out chord changes, chorus, verse, you know, I mean, so you could move them around. We were at all kinds of audibles and visual cues. But, you know, some of the meat of the shows were, you know, rehearsed. And there was definitely areas where he stretched it out. And I could just kind of, definitely jam in free flow there. Yeah,
and I always wondered, especially with some of the versions of the music, like the extended 12-inch remixes and whatnot, Prince would you say that he kind of just kept recording until the tape ran out on a song, and then he'd kind of fill it with stuff, and then it'd kind of get edited later to be a single? I'm listening to some of these songs, and they go in a direction, I think, only because they could. Like he kind of just take advantage of the opportunity, but then ultimately would kind of recondense some of the songs into like the hits that they would become. Is that kind of how he worked in the studio? Yeah, I mean, he would obviously, I mean, the mystery is the lyrics, right? You know, when did that happen? And, you know, is it because sometimes he would write out the lyrics and he showed me the song, like Head, for example. He showed me the lyrics first on purpose. So I would just go, what? You know, I mean, he goes, it's the funkiest song you've ever heard, you know, he's hearing it in his head. So but by the time he's got the whole band cooking on the thing, he'd go 30 minutes on it, and then he might find, and that's the way he recorded, he might find something at the end. Yeah. And that, you know, so it was just, once the song was, you know, finished in his head, then it would just, it would just run until the tape ran out, and looking for ideas, finding stuff, you know, changing parts. But some of the deepest, most intricate stuff is those extendeds, right? He's finding stuff, you know, you're never, each measure is just something unique. That's the thing about Prince, is each 4-bar count contains so much between 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E, right? You know, there's so much in there on a 2 and or a 2 E and something could happen in time. You know, he used to say music is math and mathematics, and that's exactly right. And he was definitely a professor in that, and I was a disciple and ate it up. You know, time is everything for a drummer, and time is everything for Prince and his music. You know, absolutely, it really runs like a clock. Yeah, and, you know, since he's passed, you know, the vault has been really mined with some really great nuggets of material that maybe you had never even heard before. Is there anything that's been released since then, either video-wise or recordings, even after you left the group, that really stand out as something that you kind of were surprised of? I think it's pretty amazing. I mean, I heard a lot of stuff in the 70s and 80s. I mean, you couldn't hear all of it. The output was too crazy. But the fact that he wrote Never Take the Place of Your Man so early, I think, out of those releases last few years. Yeah. And then that showed up at Sign of the Times. That was kind of interesting for me. That's like, you know, you just never knew. Yeah. There was stuff that we did, the Rebel stuff that he came back later and had other people do, you know. I mean, he remembered old songs. He remembered everything he wrote. And it's, you know, he thought very carefully about what to release. And then when he started writing for other people, he thought about that. I mean, he just was very, you know, creative in how he spread the songs around. Yeah, that demo version of that song I was pretty surprised by, and maybe you thought, well, why didn't he bring that out earlier? We could have played that, you know. But usually, I mean, there's tons of them we did play that on the opposite, you know, the flip side, there's tons that I know of and played that I've never heard come out. You know, so there's stuff in there definitely that
I don't know how long, 20, 30 years, they'll be releasing stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's stuff there forever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a treasure.
It was only last June when her old man ran away. She couldn't stop crying 'cause she knew he was gonna stay. It was 10:35 on a lonely Friday night. That's when I first saw her out. She was looking alright. I asked her if she wanted to dance, and she said that all she wanted was a good man. She wanted to know if I thought I was qualified. Yeah. I said, baby, don't waste your time. I know what's on your mind, yeah. Maybe qualified for one night stand, but I could never take the place of your man. Ooh, yeah. Hurt me so bad when she told me with tears in her eyes. He was all she ever had, and now she wanted to die. He left her with a baby and another one on the way. And she couldn't stop crying 'cause she knew he was gone to stay. She asked me if we could be friends, and I said, oh, honey, honey, baby, that's it. I know that we wouldn't be satisfied. Yeah. I said, baby, stop wasting your time. I know what's on your mind. Well, I won't be satisfied with one night stand. I can never take the blame of your man. But I'll try, yeah. I sure as hell try. Honey, I'll try, yeah. I'll try, baby. Take the place of your man, yeah. Your man, yeah. Sure as hell try, yeah.
The Jazz Impulse brings you the here and now with Danny Sigelman, Saturday night, 7 to 10 p.m. on Jazz88.
Once upon a time in a land called fantasy, 17 mountains stood so high. Seas surrounded them, and together they would be the only thing that ever made you cry. You said the devil told you that another one would be you. Every time somebody broke your heart, you said the sea would one day hold you, but flow with all your tears. And love will always leave you lonely. I said someday mountains and the sea.
It's enough to make you wanna lose your mind. And I said, someday, mountains and the sea. Love will conquer if you just believe. Oh yeah. Sounding mountains and the sea. There's nothing greater. You and me. Guitars and drums on to one.
There's one song I wanted to talk about because it's kind of famous for giving you a shout out in the middle of the song there, the tune Mountains. I guess I always wondered, like, what that's a reference to. Was that an inside joke amongst the group? Or, I think the girls give you the shout out, but was that Prince's idea?
Yeah, that's the Prince lyric. And it's a way of, when Rick James in Super Freak goes, blow, Danny, blow. I know who he's talking about. And it's kind of a more, I think it's Prince perceived as in concert in the studio still. So it's a reference to like a, simple drum fill turnaround. And it's just time for that in a percussive musical sense. It's time to just shout out. You know what I mean? It's just part of the lyrics.
Give the drummer some.
Yeah, that's a give the drummer some. in this case, blow, Danny, blow. Bobby on the drum.
Yeah,
it's just I never really thought of it in terms of pride. I mean, I didn't look at it like, oh, he's mentioning my name.
It's pretty cool, though, man. Yeah, and I mean, not many people got a shout out in a Prince song, so I'm sure there was great.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very fun. It's kind of when you approach that part in the song, live. I must say it is kind of
a nice little boost.
Different.
Yeah, and you're listening to the Jazz Impulse on Jazz88. It's a special night here in our Purple Party. Been talking to Bobby Z, the original drummer of Prince and the Revolution. We'll be talking to him some more. He's got always full of great Prince stories, and we're just so honored to have him with us here this weekend as part of celebration all week long in the Twin Cities. It's a big weekend for Prince fans, and the Purple Party will keep rolling. We'll be talking to Bobby a little bit more in just a little bit as we hand things over to Phil Nussbaum and his interview with pianist Chris Launheim, and more with Bobby Z after the break.
My name is John Ringland. I've donated 2 vehicles to public radio. They were tools that we used to get around, and the last thing that we could do with them that was good was give them to public radio.
Your vehicle can power programming. Visit jazz88.fm/support.
Hi, this is Sergio Miaunichenko with the Brazilian Hour. I would like to invite you to join me every week with the best and most exciting music of Brazil. Every week, right here.
Tune in to the Brazilian Hour every Sunday at noon on Jazz 88.5, KBEM FM, and online at jazz88fm.com.
Chris Launheim's original piano music has a familiar ring. It's time for Twin Cities This Week. Chris Launheim is a Twin Cities pianist who plays solo, with the trio, and with the sextet. He likes all the settings, but because he has been getting a lot of work as a solo artist, he's enjoying playing solo more and more. In a conversation with Phil Nussbaum, Chris related that his musical career began when he would go to his father's music lessons. It turned out that of the two, Chris was the natural keyboardist, and then he started composing.
started probably when I was in my teenage years, probably about 15, 16.
Chris Lomheim about his earliest days as a piano player.
And, of course, listening to Bill Evans and Oscar Peterson and Andre Previn, people like that, I started to write melodies and chords and stuff at a pretty early age.
When you play shows, either as a solo artist or with your trio, you play a lot of original music. Where did you get the nerve to do that?
Well, it's kind of fun to not have to play standards and jazz classics. Those are fun as well, but sometimes it's more fun to just play your own music. And a lot of that I learned playing with the group The Illicit Sextet, and we play only original compositions. So they've inspired me to kind of go that route. And when I play with my trio or even solo piano, I do incorporate a lot of my original compositions.
Tell us something about Theme for a Ride.
Well, Theme for a Ride is a song I wrote. It's an 8-bar measure tune that goes through a cycle of 3 key changes. Strong on the melody, so that when you hear something I've written, you go, wow, it almost sounds like I've heard that before. So there's a common theme that when you hear some of my compositions, you'll say, wow, that sounds really familiar. It's almost like an earworm thing. You go, wow, I've heard that somewhere before.
How do you write? I mean, do you hum something and then say, hey, let me write that down? Or what is your method?
I have different methods. Sometimes I just sit down and just plug away, with the pen, sitting at the piano. Sometimes I'll be inspired by a melody or chord changes too, a chord progression thing that I'm working on. Lullaby is one of my oldest compositions I wrote when I was in my early 20s, and I actually wrote it for my nephew, my first nephew Jake, when he was just a baby. It was just a simple melody that sounded like a lullaby, and then I added some more complex harmonies under it. And it's still to this day one of my favorite pieces that I've written. I still enjoy playing it, and I recorded it as a trio, and I've also recorded it with the Illicit Sextet as well.
We're speaking with Chris Lomheim, who plays and composes for his trio and for solo piano. When you're playing and it's solo, do you approach the instrument differently than when you've got your trio or your sextet?
I do, because there's more responsibility as a solo pianist, because you have to, play bass, you have to cover the rhythm, you have to, be responsible for the time and form. And, sometimes it's even more freeing just to be a solo piano player. I have recently been doing a lot more solo piano and really enjoying it. And I've been playing at Vieux Carré every other week for the past 2.5 or almost 3 years now. It gives me an opportunity to work out on my original melodies and tunes.
Where does Tempo of Truth come from?
Tempo of Truth, I wrote specifically for the Illicit Sextet. It goes in some different directions, and it's a real fun piece to play.
If you had your druthers, would you prefer to be a solo artist, or would you like a group of 3 or a 6 or even larger?
Boy, that's a hard question, because I like all 3, or I love different group settings. Recently I've been really favoring solo piano. It's been something that I've been really working on, and I'm feeling more and more confident and comfortable doing. But I still really love the trio setting.
Chris Lomheim, he plays more and more frequently as a soloist, but also with his trio and with the Illicit Sextet. The web address is chrislomheim.com. This program is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund. Phil Nussbaum speaking.
Businesses and organizations join together to support our mission of jazz and education in the Jazz88 Business Circle. Our members include the Art Shop at Midtown Global Market, MSP Film Society, our Mark Fry Law Firm, Minnehaha Falls Landscaping, Walker West Music Academy, and the American Swedish Institute. Learn how you can join the circle and reach our discerning audience at jazz88.fm.
Tune in here on Monday nights at 7 for Minnesota Jazz Tracks. You'll hear local legends like Irv Williams or Jeannie Arlen Peterson, distinctive Minnesota artists like Happy Apple or L.A. Buckner. Old and new, near and not too far, we'll see what's been going on in music around these parts. That's Minnesota Jazz Tracks with me, Sam, Monday nights 7 to 9 on Jazz 88.
And we are back here on the Jazz Impulse. I'm your host, Danny Sigelman. We are celebrating the life and music of Prince. It's his birthday today, and a celebration is happening all over the Twin Cities today, especially at Paisley Park, where Bobby Z was making an appearance. He's going to talk a little bit about what it's been like getting back together with the Revolution in recent years, and also some of his favorite Prince songs. So back to the interview with Bobby Rivkin, a.k.a. Bobby Z, the original drummer of Prince and the Revolution. And I'm sure you guys maybe remained friends after you were gone from the group, but through the years and whatnot, I know you've always spoke fondly of Prince. And what was that like as in terms of your relationship when he kind of moved on from the Revolution?
I mean, it for everybody the ending was different. I started, 1976. I mean, it's just a completely different reference point than everybody else, So it kind of, in the last conversation about that, it was, I had a kid,
Yeah.
I mean, Adam was born and he loved Adam and Vicky. We were family at that point.
Yeah.
And it was obvious that, Sheila wanted the job to me. I couldn't think of a better replacement than, Sheila Escovedo. I mean,
yeah.
It's not like you're getting thrown out of the band because you suck or
yeah.
It's somebody that's coming in to do something completely different. They were taking it to a completely different type of music and level, and she's an amazing musician.
And maybe it's fair to say you guys were the club band, and he kind of was filling out the orchestra as his career went on with a lot of different players, of course. I mean, there's no better training camp than as a musician than to go through that band, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it to start so early where it was free. Andre and Prince and I were, there's that jam, the Loring sessions. It's a kind of it's mislabeled because it was actually recorded at Sound 80 by my brother Dave.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't at Loring Park. It got a little confused there in the local press, I think. So,
yeah.
But it's a jam of me and Prince and Andre, and that's what we did till dawn every night. And there was no structure.
Yeah.
I mean, there was structure because he's calling out stuff, but we're just flying and jamming.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing gets structured as the first album, second album, third album. Then it becomes a show where it's more important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All of a sudden, things are more structured. But in the beginning, we're jamming,
Yeah. And I know that it was important to you and exciting that he kind of gave you the thumbs up when you kind of brought the revolution back and you were performing his music. What was that like?
I mean, I had a major health event going on 14 years, I think.
Wow.
And everybody in the community was there for me, including you. And I think it was something that Prince, really wanted to help, and he allowed me to kind of have the keys to the red Corvette with those Purple Heart shows, and got to bring the band back together, which created a lot of excitement. And then in hindsight, it kind of prepared us to play later after in tribute to him.
Yeah.
So it all kind of was meant to be, I guess, in a sad way.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just like in the jazz world, there's still a Count Basie orchestra, there's still a Sun Ra orchestra, there's still Duke Ellington's music.
We're can't be Prince in the Revolution, man. There's no Prince in the Revolution.
Yeah.
All we can do is just, carry on, playing the backing track, so to speak.
Yeah,
for the crowd, like Wendy says, it's songs belong to all of us. So, she wants everybody to sing those songs, calling that out. And I think that's true.
And you're still a group?
We are still a group. Mm-hmm. We are played last year, as you know, at Celebration.
Yeah.
And my appearance is there this year. And Mark's going to play with the MPG in July, I guess, and First Ave, and that'll be very cool. So, and Matt plays around. Wendy and Lisa are always busy. So, I mean, it's as we get older too, you get to travel and stuff. So, we just want to keep it to a level where it's worthy of Prince, and that we won't settle for less than that. So it takes a lot of energy and a lot of time. And I think maybe next year, and there'll be some anniversaries of Parade and some other stuff. So hopefully,
Parade's one of my favorite Prince records. I think there's such a great variety on that record, and the movie itself is pretty interesting.
That whole experience. I mean, just to go to France, and selfishly, just the experience of the south of France and being involved in all that was just life changing. So it was just incredible to experience that. We played America in a tent in Nice, shot that video, and the whole experience was just otherworldly.
Yeah,
to get familiar, wake up in the morning, your knees. Getting coffee. I mean, it was for a couple months. It was pretty great.
Talk to me about the Revolution's wardrobe. Do you still have some of those clothes? The ruffled shirts and whatnot?
I do. Do
they still fit?
I haven't tried the pants on. Probably not too bad. But they were heavy. Yeah. They were made by Lewis and Vaughn. They were beautiful. They are beautiful. The rainbow suit I wore in the movie, I have. The American Music Award. When we accepted the award, I have. I recently donated that back to Paisley. So they have the actual American Music Award costumes for all of us now. It looks like the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. It's accurate and it's just striking. It's up there now, I think, that until July or something. But it's great, But I do have a lot of them that I played in. Yeah. And a lot of shirts that are destroyed from sweat still. Yeah. It's a lot of DNA in those clothes.
I can imagine. Yeah. I was going to ask you if I could borrow them sometime, but maybe that's...
Yeah, while you're golfing, right?
Well, so
Halloween or something.
I'll put you on the spot, Bobby. What is your go-to Prince song? If you're going to listen to some Prince, what do you play? What do we want to play for the people tonight going out here? And thanks so much for your time with us. I know it's a busy weekend for you, but what would be your go-to Prince song?
For me, there's some really special moments. I think on the second album, the Prince album, It's Gonna Be Lonely. I watched him record that, and it kind of becomes a preview of his prowess in the studio and orchestra arranging it to come. And the end of that song, I just love the way he arranges that and the vocal stacks. It's very telling of the talent ahead. Yeah. Where something like Condition of the Heart comes later. We could see how he could do this by himself and create these amazing vocal opera kind of things. And not that he wasn't doing that for you, but this one is just gorgeous.
Don't you
I love Les the Timber Married. When he played me that thing was just rocking.
It's a banger.
And you know, after that Rolling Stones thing, I just really didn't know how it was going to go, and then that was the first time I heard after that, and I went, "It's going to be fine."
Yeah.
Everything's going to be just fine, you know.
Yeah, the infamous story. I mean, you kind of got booed off the stage opening for the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, I mean, Rolling Stones, the audience we all know is just kind of like a tough guy, tough woman vibe, right? You know, they're street fighting man, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just something. They just didn't know who he was, and Jagger, you know, Dirty Mind was the kind of an all over the place record. It certainly, you know, the R&B department at Warner Brothers didn't know what to do with it. It was just Jagger, Richards. I talked to Wyman and Charlie Watts, and they were like, "We love the record," you know. So it was the Stones picking their up and coming artist, and I don't think their audience knew it, but for the Stones, they loved it.
Yeah, and I've heard you tell
they
this.
They throw stuff at us, as Charlie said to me. They throw stuff at Mick. They throw stuff at us. Don't worry about it. Shake it off.
They throw more interesting things at Prince. I've heard you told the story before, and I think after that, Prince really kind of decided that I don't know that he ever even opened for anybody after that. He decided he plays his own stages now.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely was it. But Lisa's got a really good comment, too, where she said that, you know, that audience, he realized he had to win that audience over, right?
Yeah.
In order to cross over. And so, I mean, it was a challenge that he accepted and went for it. But yeah, absolutely. You know,
and then, I mean, I think essentially throughout his life, the audience followed him musically and definitely the hardcore following.
Well, once he got on MTV, there was no turning back. You know, he was one of them. Michael and Prince, right? You know, they broke the color barrier on MTV. You know?
Yeah. Once
that happened, you know, people could see him dance on Corvette, and 1999 was a hit. And
yeah,
videos were cool. We were odd-looking group, you know, and it transferred on video and television. I thought pretty well, and all of that kind of magic happened.
I know that Prince played drums as well, and did you and showed you the parts, but ultimately you were performing drums on stage. Did you guys ever do like a traditional jazz drum off kind of thing where you're trading fours and that kind of challenging each other?
We never really had two drum sets up there kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you know, if you go and listen to the Loring sessions, you know, you'll see that we were kind of jazzing out a little bit. But he sat down on a drum set and he played often. He picked up a bass often. I mean, everybody, you know, he had the skills. An incredible bass player.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, just the tone and everything was just incredible. Drumming, you know, he could play what he heard in his head. And, you know, that's just everything. Because if you could start out with a drum part and stop and start, like I said in the very beginning of our chat here, you know, I mean, he's putting drum tracks down first, and he's stopping, and he's starting, and he knows where he is.
Yeah.
And there's no, you know, the music's literally in his head.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. I've heard that. I think I've heard you tell that story before. One last question. What was your last experience with Prince? The last time talking to him or any being with him? Do you have any memories of that?
Yeah, I went out there and talked to him at Paisley, and I talked to him after there was some trouble in the air at one time, and
he had a medical emergency. Yeah, and you talked to him then.
And everything was fine. I mean, yeah, I was reassured that he was fine. And, you know, I like everybody else, was shocked to find out that wasn't the case. So,
yeah,
but it remained close. Up to that point, I was thinking of the other day about one time I was in LA and I called him and he said, "You're going to come over here." This is after I was in the band. This is like, you know, back dance is what we're talking about. And he said, So and you could see how we continued on, and I said, well, what, you're shooting this thing? What do like 4 a.m. or something? And he goes, yeah, half of my head is green right now. He's like, I don't even know what that means. You know what I mean? And then when I saw the video, it's just like funny that he talking to him that night. He made that comment.
Yeah. Yeah, he had the half Joker hair and the half, I don't know, Batman.
Just out of the blue.
I think duality was a big thing in Prince's work and in his life, that kind of combination of the yin-yang, good and evil, love and lust.
Well, he kind of puts that all out there for you, don't he? So,
Yeah, I think he was very tuned into the opposite sides of his personality, and
it just wasn't the same neurons and electrons that we have. You're just in the room with the guy, and it's just a different feeling in the air. The literal atmosphere changed. The guy, he had a power over nature, and it was just completely different environment than any other human being I've been in a room with. And that's all I can explain it to anyone. It's just, that's why he's, we're still talking about him. It's just a different, maybe like a king or a pharaoh or something, kind of vibe that but in the beginning, definitely hard to react to someone who is that and not recognized yet as that, so he definitely earned it, man. He definitely earned it, crawled his way out and did it and worked hard and just, definitely just did it.
And clearly he was a sensitive soul, and to be a part of his circle and be trusted with his music, with his art, you were definitely in a special place. And, I'm sorry you lost your friend, but we celebrate the music, the man, forever now. Really cherish the music and the legacy that he left behind. Thank you so much, Bobby. It's just really great to catch up with you.
Danny.
And we will continue to celebrate.
Say hi to all your listeners. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Say hi to all the fans, Bobby. We might even throw on your solo record at some point here.
Well, that's pretty dangerous. Live by Live's pretty good track. There's some fun stuff in there.
It's good stuff.
I did the best I could.
I've been waiting for
a little major label hell myself, like everybody. But it was an experience.
I've been waiting for the Bobby Z Big Band Orchestra to happen at some point.
It sounds kind. I can't believe you. I'm not saying you read my mind, but I really do like that style. I don't know about getting all of that many musicians in a room. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's.
I helped Jan and Munson. Hopefully Munson's doing well. But I did play on the show they did last year, and that a lot of people, a big cast and a big band, and that was fun. But. We'll have to do that. We'll start we'll take over Orchestra Hall. How about that?
That would be wonderful. And your health is doing pretty good, Bobby. You sound great.
Thank you. Yeah, I am. I'm. I take every pill you see on TV, but I'm doing good. I try to stay active, try to watch what I eat, and my heart got beat up a little bit, but. We're definitely watching it, and things are good right now.
Right on, man. Well, bless you, and send my good best wishes to the family. And thanks for everything you do. We're looking forward to everything that happens with your career and music, and your generosity in spreading the gospel of your experience with Prince and the music. Have a great night, Bobby. We'll talk to you again soon.
Take care, Katie.
Thanks, Bobby.
This is 88.5 KBEM FM, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Jazz88.fm on the web, a listener-supported service of Minneapolis Public Schools.
Oh, it's gonna be a beautiful. It's gonna be a beautiful night. Oh, it's gonna be a beautiful. It's gonna be a beautiful night. Oh, it's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful night. No time for politics. No, don't want to fight. Everybody get up. It's gonna be a beautiful night. No time for sorrow. This is gonna be the one. And there's no tomorrow. And I'm gonna have some fun. It's gonna be a beautiful night. It's gonna be a beautiful night. Come on. It's gonna be a beautiful night. It's gonna be a beautiful time.
It's Jazz 88 and the Jazz Impulse with Prince and the Revolution. It's going to be a beautiful night. It really has been a beautiful night here. And big shout out to Bobby Z, our special guest tonight. Really nice discussion about his life and career with Prince in those early days. They really brought it. And so much great stuff out there performance-wise with the original Revolution that Bobby was a part of. And a big congrats to him and everybody that celebrated Celebration today at Paisley Park. I'm sure the party's still raging right now. It's still raging here on Jazz 88, the Jazz Impulse. I'm your host, Danny Sigelman. I believe Sweet Willie D is on his way. We'll be hanging out with him in a bit. He'll be bringing us some Prince energy. See what block party he was at tonight. Looking forward to that. And a lot more Prince music before the end of the hour here tonight on Jazz 88. Always a joy to do a special Prince show on his birthday every year. Be getting into some more music here. I thought we'd pull another kind of very jazzy tune from the Diamonds and Pearls record. This one is Strollin'. It's on Jazz 88.
Let's take a drive, take a break from 9 to 5. It's so great to be alive, oh yeah. We could rent some roller skates, we could skate around the lake. If we don't know how we'll fake it, oh yeah. Strolling, strolling. We can have fun just strolling, rocking, rolling, Sugar, I don't have to dream.
to be a role model. I don't know.
Come on, Chelsea.
I don't know.
Come on. Go ahead now, Chelsea. Go ahead now.
This for Jersey right here.
Go ahead now. Chelsea Rock was a model, but she really rocked and roll. Yes, she did. Tears up in a bottle. She put him out to save his soul. I asked her what she liked the most. She said she liked to talk to Jimmy's ghost. Fantasy or prize post.
This girl is fly.
Chelsea is fly, like coast to coast. Hollywood or Times Square. Yeah, the party's fly, my girl is dead.
Yes, she is.
Her boots on, flowers in her hair. 21st century hippie, Chelsea don't care. Chelsea Rogers was a model. Well, but she really rocked and roll. Yes, she did. Chelsea tears up in a bottle. Running out to save her soul. Try to catch her if you can. Come on now, you never see her with one man.
Brother got to jump in the water.
She must be baptized, according to the master plan. I hope she can give up the good thing.
Go ahead, Chelsea.
Go ahead, Chelsea. A designer shoe. No, no.
Cause she's too original from her head down to her feet.
Chelsea don't need no meat.
Still got butt like a leather seat. Go ahead, Chelsea.
Go ahead, Chelsea. Chelsea Rogers was a model, but she really rocked and roll. She got the tears up in a bottle. Running out to save her soul.
Speak on it, horn.
Come on.
Next at her, they just a fool. Chelsea read more books than a few.
Moses was the pharaoh in the 18th dynasty, and Rome was chilling in Carthage in 33 BCE. And the day that we stopped counting, we lived as long as a tree.
Go ahead, Chelsea, teach me. Go ahead, Chelsea.
Make a promise to your higher self. Get your knowledge and failing well. Don't be chasing nobody's ghost. Of everything, make the most. Come on. Chelsea Rogers was a model, but she really rocked and roll. Got the tears up in a bottle. Yes, she did. Calling out to save her soul. Chelsea Rogers was a model, might as well. But she really rocked and roll. Tears up in a bottle. Falling out to save my soul.
Come on, let it go.
Chelsea.
It's Jazz 88, the Jazz Impulse, celebrating Prince, the life, the music, the man, the dance party grooves for days here on the Jazz Impulse tonight. We heard Chelsea Rogers going back to 2007, Prince's Planet Earth record. And before that, we started where it all began, 1978's For You with My Love Is Forever. It started off Strollin', 1991, from the Diamonds and Pearls record. Danny Sigelman, your host here on the Jazz Impulse every Saturday. We're the soundtrack to your Saturday night. Doing the Prince Purple Party live on the air here as we did last year. I think it's going to be a nice yearly tradition. It's great to have Andrea Swensson in here earlier tonight, and a really fun interview with Bobby Z. There might be some more special guests, so stick around. Getting back into some music, the Batman soundtrack has aged very well in my book. And we are going to hear The Future from Prince. It's here on Jazz 88, the Jazz Impulse.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I've seen the future and it will be. I've seen the future and it works. If there's life after, we will see. So I can't go like a jerk. Systematic although of the class. Hollywood conjures images of the past. New world needs spirituality that will last. I've seen the future and it will be. I've seen the future and it will be. I've seen the future and it works. This life after we will see. So I can't go like a jerk. Yellow smiley offers me X, like it's drinking 7-Up. I would rather drink 6 razor blades from a paper cup. You can't understand, I say too tough. It's just that I've seen the future, boy it's rough. I've seen the future and it will be. I've seen the future and it works. If there's life after, we will see. So you can't go like a jerk. No, no. I've seen the future and it will be. Wait a minute. Standing on the avenue, flashing loaded pistol, too dumb to be true. Somebody told him playing cops and robbers was cool. Would our rap have been different if we only knew? I've seen the future and it will be. I've seen the future and it works. If there's life after, we will see. Don't go out like a jerk. Spirituality that would last. I've seen the future and
Yes, Lisa. Is the water warm enough? Yes, Lisa. Shall we begin? Yes, Lisa.
Where is my love life? Where's my love life? Tell me has it go? Somebody please tell me what the hell is wrong. Till I find the righteous one, computer blue. Till I find the righteous one, computer blue.
Feeling that kind of energy tonight here. This is the Jazz Impulse on Jazz 88, and we're doing Computer Blue. We went back to Purple Rain a little bit for Prince, celebrating Prince tonight, his life, his music, all the great music he left behind. Before that, we did The Future, and that is from the Batman soundtrack. Was it 89 or 91?
89.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. Hey, we got another special guest. Cool Cat Willie is here. You got a scene report for us.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? What's going on?
Yeah, Willie was out there today. Tell us about the Purple Day. How did things go there, aside from the rain?
Yeah, so I was down at the block party for a bit. Man, it was a great vibe, good energy. You had musicians coming in, sort of getting ready to perform. They had a huge stage there.
Yeah.
Paisley Park had their own sort of like merch booth. But what I thought was really cool is they had a bunch of community organizations. They allowed them to have tables. And so one of those organizations was, my organization, Purple Playground.
Yeah.
We do music education and, summer programming for youth.
Yeah, tell us more about the Purple Playground. I know I've rocked some Purple Playground parties in my time. Tell the folks what you get up to.
That's right. So, Purple Playground was created by myself and Heidi Vader, who's a local music aficionado, I guess you could call her that. It was created, after Prince's transition. We wanted to do something to honor his legacy, especially around philanthropy and music education. And Heidi's idea was just to do a bunch of parties and fundraisers. That's kind of how you came in.
Yeah.
We get Danny come in to DJ.
I heard there was a party going. I'm going to show up.
Yeah, he's going to be there with his records, right?
Yeah, and we did the Prince Day at the Twins game one time. I think I did that with you guys.
Yeah, and did a roller skating party for us.
Oh, the roller skating party was so much fun, man, with Dudley D. And everything's going well with the Purple Playground then?
It's going fantastic. So this summer will be our 8th year. It's kind of funny, Danny, like kids that we started out with 8 years ago are now adults. And, you know, and it's just really a beautiful thing of what has grown and blossomed into.
It's Prince's music that I think inspires other people to take on, to play music and find that voice for themselves. And I think you guys do a great way of representing that phenomena. I think it's great work, and it really carries on the legacy of the music.
Yeah, no doubt.
In the man. So the rain came. So people were playing on stage and the rain showed up. That's a real Prince move, I think.
It was such a Prince move.
It was like the Super Bowl.
I was like, and then when the announcer came on, his mic kept going out. So it was like all these little signs of like Prince is out here messing with us. Clearly doesn't want us.
No. I think, you know, he was
a jokester.
He challenged people for sure.
No doubt.
Well, thanks for coming down, Willie. We got a little bit left in the show tonight. We're going to get back into some more music. We've been listening to the Minneapolis Genius, the 94 East record.
Ooh. And rest in peace to Pepe Willie.
Yeah, Pepe Willie passed earlier this week, right?
Yeah, he did. Man, he was just so many people. You know, Prince wasn't an anomaly. It was a group effort. Like, so many people in the community embraced him and supported him. And I think Pepe Willie was probably one of the first ones to really see that genius that we all know and feel. So
it takes a purple village,
no doubt. So we want to send love.
Did you know Pepe?
I didn't get a chance to meet him, you know, but he was always really cool with the fans. Like, I know if you wanted a picture with him, he'd do it. He'll talk to you. He was like one of those guys. So
part of the family for sure, and very early in Prince's career, and
a great musician in his own right. I mean, he wrote songs and.
Yeah, what year was this record? This Minneapolis Genius stuff. 77.
Right.
Yeah. First recordings for Prince. Outside of, I think he did some session stuff with the Lewis Connection before this, maybe around the same time.
Yeah, but again, this is a 18-year-old person, you know, like running around town on major recordings. So it was awesome.
All right, we'll get into some music and we'll come back before the end of the show. Cool Cat Willie in the house here for the Purple Party here tonight on the Jazz Impulse. Wanted to get to something from 2006. Huge fan of 3121. Do you have any memories from this time period? Did you go to this show? He did a tour of this record.
He did do a tour of the record. He actually had a residency in Las Vegas. And I went out there. Unfortunately, I was not able to actually see the show. But
what?
Yeah, it was impossible to get tickets to things like back then.
Yeah. All right, we're going to do Black Sweat. This is a real dance floor one for people. Anybody having a dance party in their living rooms tonight, you're going to want to turn it up for this one. It's here on the Jazz Impulse.
Yes, it is. Funky. I'm hot, and I don't care who knows it. I got a job to do. Thank you. Yes. I'm working. Working up a black sweat. I'm working. Working up a black sweat. I'm working. But I got to hurt him. I'm gonna hurt him. You better take your woman and hide. I'm about to. Tell me what you about to do, boy. I got to. what's really good.
Show me what's really good.
Break you off like you knew I would. Brand new dance.
I got a brand new dance, and it's called
working. Working up a black sweat.
I'm working.
Working up a black sweat.
I'm working.
Breakdown. You can act hard if you want to. This groove will make you sweet. You be screaming like a white lady when I count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Working. Working up a black sweat. I'm working. Working up a black sweat. I'm working. Working up a black. Working. Working up a black. Hey. Black sweat.
Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, let me rock it, Chaka Khan, let me rock it, that's all I wanna do, Chaka Khan, let me rock it, Chaka Khan, let me rock it, got the feel for you, Chaka Khan, what you tell me what you wanna do you feel for me the way I feel for you, Chaka Khan, let me tell you what I wanna do, I wanna love you, wanna hug you, wanna squeeze you too, and let me take it in my arms, let me feel you with my charm, Chaka, cause you know that I'm the one to keep you warm, Chaka, I make it more than just a physical dream, I wanna rock you, Chaka, baby, let you make me wanna scream, let me rock it, rock it. That's all I wanna do, Chaka Khan. Let me rock it, Chaka Khan. Let me rock it, got the feel for you. That's all I wanna do, Chaka Khan. Let me rock it, Chaka Khan. Let me rock it, cause I feel for you. Feel for you.
somewhere you've never been. I can show you things you never see. I can make you never wanna fall in love again. Come spend the night inside my sugar world. Take advantage. It's alright. I feel so alive when I'm with you. Come and feel my presence. It's raining tonight. Heaven on earth inside my sugar world. Let me take you somewhere you've never been. I can show you things you never see. I can make you never wanna fall in love again. Come spend the night inside my sugar world. I can tell you on me. It's impossible to hide. Your body's on fire, admit it. Come inside. My sugar
Jazz 88, the Jazz Impulse, the soundtrack to your Saturday night here on Jazz 88, 7 to 10. My name is Danny Sigelman, and we're wrapping things up with Sheena Easton and Sugar Walls, a song that Prince wrote for her, or did she steal that song from him? How did that work out?
No, he wrote the song and produced the song and gave it to her. I'm curious why. I wonder if there's a version of it with him singing those wild lyrics.
Yeah. Before that, we did Chaka Khan and her version of I Feel For You, Prince song that she had a big hit with.
Huge hit.
And, of course, they were very close, and she was definitely an inspiration for him. So I've heard different stories. He wasn't super into the rapping on that version, but I'm sure he
liked the checks that came.
I was going to say, he got a nice paycheck. Cool Cat Willie with me here tonight, celebrating Prince, closing it down here tonight. And I heard it sounds like you had a great day at the Purple Day today, and so much more coming up for the Purple Playground. Anything else we got to know about?
I just want to say, Prince this would have been his 67th birthday, and it just seems like the energy around this music, his message, is just not going anywhere, you know? And it just seems like the crazier the world gets, the more folks are getting into his music and his message. So I'm just happy to be a small part of, making sure the youth, at least appreciate and understand
Turn on to it.
Yeah. And where they take it is where they're going to take it. So
absolutely. Thank you, Willie. Have a great rest of your Purple weekend. And everybody else, do stay tuned for Jazz Night in America with Christian McBride's coming up here at 10 o'clock on Jazz 88. We're going to leave you. We're going to play In the Sunshine. It's Prince here. Happy birthday, Prince. It's on Jazz 88.
Yeah.